I'm real big on setting the tone and having energy with the things that what I'm doing in my life, things that I'm passionate about, things that move me, things that drive me to want to be great. Uh, and I think that can get a bit confusing to people who don't live like that. I think for some people who don't live like that and who aren't very big on energy and setting a tone, they it confuses them. What I mean by that is they look at it as aggression. They look at it as unnecessary. Um, it's too much. These are different things that I've heard people say with regards to addressing people who do that, and even myself. Um, that sometimes it's a bit over the top, and they don't know why it's necessary. And let me touch on this real quick. I put a post on my Instagram the other day, and I was talking about the energy you give is the energy you receive back. And I firmly believe that. Now, follow me. When I do anything, especially coaching, and I talk a lot about coaching recently, is because that's where I'm at right now. And my current chapter of my life, so to say, is coaching. Now, uh, we're almost done here this month. But until then, that's what this podcast is going to be about, at least these next few episodes. I I got tossed from a game, or I should say I nearly got tossed completely from a game last Friday, about a week ago. And that was the first time that happened while coaching this high school team. Now, a lot of you guys know that my high school team is a very young team. We are not a true varsity baseball team. In fact, we are more of a JV team who happens to be playing varsity. And I say that because we only have four seniors. Two of them are true seniors who've played baseball for a very long time, and the other two have never played baseball at all. That openly told me they took it because they wanted to get some physical activity in. I love these guys, man, because they're great kids. All these kids have um, good qualities, and every kid on this team brings something great, whether it be skill, whether it be input, whether it be knowledge, whether it be personality, whether it be um, hard work. That we got kids who've given some great speeches to the team to inspire them. So everybody on this team contributes in some way, shape, or form, even the new kids that have never played baseball. But our team is young, and with a young team who's playing varsity, you go through a lot of growing pains. You go through struggle. You go through times where you doubt yourself, where you don't think you're good enough, where you don't believe you're ever going to win a game. And there were times when this team was going through that, and I felt it, and I felt that they didn't believe in themselves. Because when a game would get out of hand, I could just see it in their face. Body language is everything. Remember, I told you energy, and setting the tone. So what I've been trying to do as a coach is I've been trying really hard to make sure that I don't allow myself to get down, that I don't allow myself to exude bad energy when things get tough for us because they have been tough, you know? So instead, they have been showing bright spots here and there, and they have been battling their ass off. And we had an opportunity last Friday to play the second place team in the league, and this was the first time that we actually had an opportunity, a chance to beat them. Like we were in the game. Like the kids were pitching their asses off. They were hitting. We were being aggressive, like we always are on the base pads. And we finally seemed to put a good game together against this team, which we hadn't done yet. And we get to a point where we start to come back. I believe it was 9-0 or something, and now it's 9-4, about to be 9-5. And we end up having a great inning, one out, and we've got the meat of our lineup coming up. And one of my seniors uh, steals third base and goes around the tag, moves his shoulder and slides around the tag, and his leg gets in. And the umpire standing between the pitcher and second base calls him out. The kid whiffed and never tagged our player. And this gave us two outs in an inning where we were about to break things open because of who we had coming up. And now we had a runner at third base, or we should have had a runner at third base. So I'm livid. Now I don't lose my cool, but I asked for a timeout. And this umpire, I should tell you before I get into this part, I should tell you that this umpire showed up in the second inning. We have an umpire behind the plate that was there the entire game. And then this guy showed up in the second inning and was apologizing to everybody for being late. Now, what turns out is this is the umpire chief, apparently, the guy who runs everything. But he shows up in the second inning. So he's over. I could already see he's kind of irritated for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe it was a personal matter. Maybe it was traffic, whatever. Regardless, we were playing with one umpire for the first inning and then going into the second inning. And then this guy showed up. So he missed the call, and I asked for a timeout, and I asked if I could come talk to him. And he looked at me, and I said, "Can I come talk to you?" And he just stared at me. And I said, "I'm asking you, can I come talk to you?" And he said, "Are you the head coach?" And I said, "What does that matter?" And he says, "Are you the head coach?" I said, "Yes." And he goes, "What do you want?" So I walked out and I said, "What did you see?" He said, "He's out." I said, "Okay, I'm asking you, what did you see?" He said, "He tagged him." I said, "No, he did not tag him." I said, "He went around the tag. He completely swiped and missed his entire body." He said, "Okay, well, he's out." I said, "Okay, can I ask for a second opinion?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Okay, that's not right. I'm asking for a second opinion. Can we ask home plate what he saw?" He said, "That's your first warning." I said, "Listen, it is protocol for a coach to be able to ask for a second opinion." And he goes, "Okay." And then he kind of looks away and he goes, "Hold on." Looks up to the sky and he goes, "Okay, you got it. He's out." I said, "Okay." So I realized his attitude was just going to be, he was going to be a complete ass to me. So I said, "Okay, that's what we're doing." And I said, um, "You're supposed to be able to talk to the umpire." And he goes, "That's your second warning." He goes, "Say one more thing." Or he said, "Say something else, and I'm gonna eject you from the game." I said, "Something else," because I was pissed off. And he goes, "That's it." And I go, "You know what? These kids have won one game this year, and you're taking this from them." I said, "That's not fair. You're taking this game from these kids who are actually in a position to win this game. They haven't played this good all year, and you're taking it from them because you don't want to admit you made a mistake and you're on an ego trip." And he goes, "Okay, I'm done with you. You're restricted to the dugout." So he didn't kick me out of the game, but he kicked me off the field. So, and then he warned me if I said anything else, he was going to have me leave the field and get in the car and have to go home. Um, so he restricted me to the dugout. Mind you, this wasn't a blowout where everybody was looking like, "Oh, what's going on?" We weren't yelling. We were having a conversation. He didn't even loudly eject me. He just pointed to the dugout and restricted me there. And I walked there. Um, and probably the cool thing was the kids, when I got to the dugout, they're looking at me, they're like, "Coach, who we watching? Are we watching you?" And I sat on my little chair right by the gate and I said, "Yeah, watch me." The batters were like, "Okay, so we're not watching third now. We're watching you for side." "Coach, I'm watching you." And the batter's like, "I'm watching you, coach." And so he points to me. I said, I got you. So just when you guys get on base, watch me. I'll be giving you the signs from right here. And they're like, okay. Needless to say, that just totally killed that inning. Um, but what was great, and we had to reel it back a little bit, was the kids really got fired up. They really had an opinion. They weren't happy about the call. They weren't happy that I got restricted to the dugout. And they were fired up. They had an opinion. And, although we had to have them simmer down a bit, that was the first time I seen some fire in them. That was the first time I seen them stand up and say, that's not cool. That was a bad call. And then to be tossing our coach because he simply asked a question, that wasn't cool either. We did have a parent get thrown out. Shout out my boy, man. He basically told me after the game, he's like, bro, I basically said everything that I knew you wanted to say, but you didn't want to get kicked out. So yo, I got love for you, bro. You know who you are. Thank you so much, man. Because if I'd have said all the shit you said, they would have kicked me out, and then they would have called the AD, and they would have told him to get me the hell out of there. There's so many reasons why I have to be cool when I'm out there. I'm in front of the kids. I'm at a high school, and I'm trying to keep the job. You know what I mean? And I just want to be a good leader. Uh, but one of the dads got kicked off, and I think one of the moms was asked to leave as well, and they were all fired up. But it was beautiful, and I'll say this: what I didn't tell the kids was part of that was to spark a flame under these kids. Part of me stepping up to that umpire and questioning and telling him he missed a call was to show these kids that if I'm going to ask you to battle when you get on this field, I'm going to do the same. You should expect me to do the same for you. I'm not going to sit there when they make a bad call and say, oh, well, we'll get the next one. Sometimes I may do that, but other times I'm going to question it. Other times I'm going to step up and have some words. Other times I'm going to have an opinion, especially when it's against a team that we got waxed by twice. That my young, very young baseball team finally put it together and had an opportunity. When I feel like it's being taken away from us, I'm going to speak up. And I did. But like I said, part of that was to show these kids that and maybe show them what it looks like for a coach to go to battle for them. And it worked. And the reason why I know it worked is because we haven't lost a game since. I told these kids after that game, the umpire did some other stuff the next inning that was dirty as well. We had an opportunity to turn a double play. Short second baseman flipped the ball to the shortstop. Shortstop stepped on the bag to make the throw, and he said he missed the bag, which he didn't. He said he missed the bag. The runner was safe. Runner was safe at first, but that was a call to basically throw it in my face. And then we should have had an opportunity to have another at bat, but the minute they went up by 10, he just immediately walked out the field and called it. Even the other team was like, oh, wow, he's calling it right away. Usually we have more time to keep playing, but he just called it. He wanted to end it. This guy was over. He was over at the minute he showed up late to the game. So this was just a bad day for him. Um, and so we ate that one. But I told you I saw something that day. And so when we had the team meeting, I pulled the kids up. I said, listen to me. I said, listen to what I'm about to tell you. I will battle with you guys every day of the week. I don't give a shit. You will get everything I got. If I'm going to ask you to go out there and fight and battle and work through all the mishaps we have as a young team, then I want you to know that I will do the same. The guy missed the call. I don't have any problem arguing that. Yes, I don't want to be kicked out of the game, so I got to be careful. But I'm doing that because I want you guys to see I am battling and fighting just like you guys are. And you guys showed me something. Yes, please watch your mouths, watch your language, be respectful because we are a team that plays with class. But what you guys showed me by having an opinion, by arguing, by being upset by the call, you know what that showed me? It showed me that you finally understand the game, that it clicked, that everything that we've been doing finally triggered in your head. You got it. You understood. And you had an opinion and you weren't happy. You were pissed off because we got robbed. You guys weren't that team before. You were timid. You weren't sure. You were afraid to make a mistake. You didn't think you could ask anybody for a second opinion. You didn't think you could get mad. You thought, well, we didn't get the call. Oh, well, we'll keep trying. But now you're angry. Now you have an opinion. Now you're mad about some stuff. And now you're fired up. And I'll take that. That's what I want from you guys because that's what I'm going to give you. And if you can give me that, then we're on to something. We can build on that because we've laid the foundation. We've been doing the work. We've been working hard at practice. Those of you who have been coming to the non-mandatory workouts on the weekend, we've been going hard, training, learning the game. I'm seeing the changes. This was a winnable game. If we didn't get it taken away from us, we might have won this game. Because I'll tell you what, when we went to go shake hands, that coach over there said, hell yeah, coach. Good job today. That's a different ball team that we played. These coaches know that. And the one game we won prior to that, the team that shellacked us the second game of the year, when we beat them, he said, this is an entirely different team than we played the first time. You guys are definitely improved. People are noticing. And now I'm telling you, I'm noticing because of what I saw today when I got tossed by that umpire. Energy, setting the tone. Now, we left that Friday, and it did not feel like a bad day. In fact, a lot of us were laughing about it. We were. But something changed. We knew something was up. I knew something was up. And come Monday was the start of this week. And we have 4 games this week. We got one tomorrow. By the time you hear this, it'll be tomorrow. So it'll be Friday. But Monday, we had a game. And we won 16-8. Now, this was a team that we beat. So they beat us the first game we played them. It was like 26-4 or something like that. It was bad. It was hands down our worst game. Second game of the season, I was probably with the team for 4 days. So we hadn't even gelled. I haven't really had any time to really get these guys ready. But they shellacked us. Then we beat them a few weeks later in a closer game. And then this time, after telling us they were going to get us this third game, they actually told us that we're going to see you on that third game. Didn't work out well for them. So we win the first game Monday, 16-8, and these kids are hitting and stealing bases like you wouldn't believe. Now, when I tell you we are aggressive, they went through 4 catchers that game. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. That is how much pressure we were putting on their catcher. We stayed very, very active, and we made every player on that team make a play. We forced it. And we went into that game, and I told them, you take that fire that you showed Friday and you bring it here. And once you put your foot on that gas, you do not let go. All right? Make sure you pay attention to me at third base. Follow me, watch my signs, and we will handle business. And you make sure that dugout, you keep that energy up. And they did. And they had a breakout game. So proud of them. We go into Tuesday's game. And this Tuesday game, I was asked by one of the teacher coaches if, because it was a weaker opponent, um, if I could start all the bench guys first. And we did. And it was a risk because even though this was a team that normally we should handle like pretty easily, I knew putting in the non-starters, this was going to be a closer game. And the one thing I didn't want to lose was the energy, the passion, the motivation that we built from Friday and Monday because we decided to go easy on Tuesday. So I think we went 5 innings um, with all the non-starters, and I was proud of them. And I got to say that is because they put 9 points on the board. And prior to um, Monday's game, that was the second most points that this team had scored. But we also, because we were putting in pitchers that never really pitch, we gave up, you know, I think it was 6 runs. So it was 9-6. It was too close. And I didn't want to lose this game because I did not want to, again, take away from what we had built the last 2 games. So I made sure that the teacher coaches understood that if it was close, they allowed me to do my thing and bring in the starters sparingly to start putting things away, starting pitcher to lock things down, and then a couple of hitters to come, pad the runs so we make sure we hold on to the win. And we did, and we ended up winning 13-7. Another game where they scored more than 10 runs, which is great. Now we got 2 of those under our belt, right? So that's win number 2 in a row. I tell these kids that's what you call a win streak. Now it's only 2 games, but that's a win streak. Now you continue to build on that. We have an opportunity to end this season on a very high note. You guys are playing better baseball now. You guys are swinging the bats. The young guys who don't get much playing time, you really showed that you're learning. Because, yes, it was close, but you guys put the bat, on the ball and you did your thing and got us 9 points in that game. Very proud of you guys. So then we go into our third game of the week. That was Wednesday. And this was a team that kind of took it to us, not too much, but it was one of those games where I think we lost by 5 points, but it was one of those games where we were smacking the shit out of the ball and it was literally going right to every player. Like line drive right to the pitcher and he catches it. Smoked the ball to center field and the center fielder just happens to be in the right spot. Um, I mean, you name it. Smoke a ball past third base and he just sticks his glove out and catches it on accident. Like it was one of those days. And I remember leaving that school saying, that is not happening again. We are not losing to this team again. It's not happening. And I remember, you have this was a team who really wasn't having a great season either. But because they beat us, you know, they had a little bit of bragging rights. And they made sure to kind of let us know. And for me as a coach, I'll go back to it. Energy, setting the tone. We're not going to lose to these guys again. I said it's not going to happen. This next game, when we see them, they're going to see the real team that we are. And we did that. So when they came to our field, the boys did what they've been doing for the last few games, jumped on them from the gate. I'm talking about pressure, hit and run, double steal, extra base, turn a single into a triple, turn a triple into a home run, turn a double into a triple, turn a bunt into a double. Like we were pushing the issue, making these guys make plays. And when I tell you that these guys broke out, man, did they break out. Um, they ended up 10 running this team by the sixth inning and ended up winning the game 17-7. And I'll be honest with you, it should have been 17-5, 17-2, because we had an inning where we gave them 5 runs that they shouldn't have got. So when I tell you I'm super proud of these kids, they they have grown so much. So from that game that we lost that Friday where I got tossed, they go on a 3-game winning streak, putting up a total of 46 runs. And now we are in second place in the division with 146 stolen bases in 13 games. I've been teaching all these kids about applying pressure, being smart on the base pads, and manufacturing runs. And we have been doing that, but we haven't been, getting the hitting. What has made this team, this young team, very dangerous now is we know how to manufacture runs now. We know how to run the base pads, and now they are hitting. And that is a very dangerous combination. I can tell you that my coach Rudy, man, Rudy Mendoza would be extremely proud because we run the bases exactly how he used to have us run the bases. We were absolute menace on the base pads when I was younger and I was playing at this same high school. We were absolute menace on the base pads. And that's what these young Sixers are. It's to the point that when we get on base, you literally hear the coach saying, "Watch the steal. They're going. They're going." And so I'll do little trick plays. I'll have my kids do big secondaries where they lead off, and as the pitcher goes, they take off sprinting and then they stop, and the catcher will throw the ball, and we'll force things like that. Um, but everybody in this league knows about this team now. We may not have all the wins that all these other teams have, but they know we're on the verge of something great, and they know that they have to be on their A game when they play us. 146 stolen bases in 13 games is absolutely nuts. Let me do the math here. Yeah, that's like an average of 11 stolen bases a game. It's wild. Now, the cool thing is, I've been sitting back and I've been watching these kids in between innings, and they're getting their swag. A few of the players told me early on that this team didn't have no personality, didn't have no swag. It wasn't a cool team. And they said, we lack personality. And I said, it'll come when you start winning. And it's coming. I'm talking about when they score, so when they score, they're coming out, jumping up in the air, fist bumping, um, forearm bumping. They got these cool little handshakes they're doing. Um, someone hits a double, they're now signaling to the dugout, putting their hands on their helmets, doing little gestures. Um, it's it's there now. They have personality now because they believe that they can win now because they've seen it now. Now they've got 4 wins on the season with an opportunity to get one tomorrow or today if you're listening to this Friday. And if they play the way they've been playing, they will get another win. And that'll make it 4 in a row. And they will have their 5th win of the season, which is huge for these young kids. Huge. I've been watching these guys, man, and there was a lot of things that I did this year to set the tone for the team, for the type of coach I am and what they can expect from me. The first thing I did when I came out was, I did a few of the team runs with them because I wanted to show them I'm gonna run with you guys. We're gonna build together. Then we brought some organization, some discipline to the team. Then we brought in non-mandatory workouts, which a lot more kids started to come to. Then we started adding a few little plays to the resume, stealing extra bases, bunting. The kids who weren't comfortable swinging started laying down bunts. I started having those kids on base steal bases when they were totally scared. And all they had to do was steal 1 or 2 bases and finally realize that they could do it. And they were. Getting into that little tussle with that umpire was to show them that I'm a battle too. We have a thing called Victory 50 that I do after every win. I do 50 push ups. Once the game is over, the kids are now, Coach, let's go. And they start chanting, and I drop down and I give them 50. It's become a thing this week where they said, Coach, your arms are going to fall off this week because we're going 4-0. I said, you guys go 4-0. I don't give a damn how many push ups I got to do. You go 4-0. I'll be willing to do all of them. When they won their 3rd game in a row, they said, hey, let's go, Coach. Let's go. Let's go. We want more than 50 today. That's 3 in a row. They said 75 to 100. I said, oh, Lord. I said, I just did 50 the day before, and then I did 50 on my own at home. And then I did another 50 for the win yesterday. Now you want me to do 50 again today, or now you want 75 to 100? I said, let's go. You guys earned it. And so they're cheering, cheering, and I end up banging out 75. And someone pointed out, you should have did 76. We called it 76ers. Man, that went over my head. I missed that. We should have done 76. But I did 75. And I remember one of the kids had his phone in my face when I was down on the ground pushing. It's like, Coach, how you feeling? Trying to like lightweight interview me as I'm mid push up. Anyways, they're all chanting. I'm going, and I could hear one of the other coaches going, "Oh, now he's just showing off." So I end up hitting 75 straight, and I do that because these are my boys, man. Um, these kids mean a lot to me, and I want to give them a great experience. I want to give them something to talk about when they're my age, when they're done with their baseball careers. I want them to talk about their time playing high school baseball. And if it was with me, I want them to talk about how they enjoyed playing for me. They enjoyed their time on that team, the brotherhood, the relationships, the friendships, the bond, the connection, the communication, everything. And I hope that somehow I can be a topic of the conversation the way Rudy is for me as a grown man now. Because Rudy was everything to me and the guys that he coached when I was there. And if I could just be that for these kids and inspire them on the field and outside the field, that's what I want to do. So when they say, Coach, we want more than 50 today, you got it. You got it, guys. I got you. And we win tomorrow, today, I got you again. It don't stop. Energy, setting the tone. I said that to these guys in the dugout that day. I said, you've got two in a row. You have an opportunity to get this team back for how they got you the first time. Set the tone. Go out there. Stay active on the base pads. Swing that bat and put your foot to the gas pedal and let's go. Set the tone early. And then once we do that, do not let up. Because I promise you, none of these teams that beat us, none of them let up on us. You make sure that you go out there and you give everything you got. And if you make a mistake, who cares? Get the next one. I told you, do not be afraid to make a mistake. It's when you're afraid to make a mistake that you really make all of your mistakes. So go ball and ball as hard as you can and go get this win. I get fired up when we get strikeouts. I get fired up when we make an amazing play, man. A lot of people have told me it's fun to watch you jump off that little chair you sit on when there's a strikeout or a play or a hell of a catch or whatever, and to see you jump up and get fired up, like you could tell you love this game. And I do. I do. And I love being the underdog, and that's what we are. We're the underdog. A buddy of mine came out to watch, and he's standing on the side of the fence, not by the bleachers. He's standing on the side, kind of where I coach by third base. He sends me a message after the game. He said, Bro, I love how aggressive you are. He goes, Man, you are relentless. And it shows with these kids. And that speaks volumes to me, man. When he sent me that message, it meant the world. I had another guy who listens to the podcast, my boy Javi, man, sent me a message on Instagram. I didn't even know he showed up to the game. He said, Yo, bro, I came to the game. I could only stay a few innings. I think he said he stayed about 3 or 4 innings. He goes, but I'm so glad I came because I was catching up on your podcast, and and I was like, damn, I gotta go catch a game. He goes, and I'm glad I did, um, because damn, your coaching style, bro. He's like, I really like your coaching style. He goes, and man, those kids were balling, and they were. He came to a good game, man. These kids put up some points, and and I'm glad. This has been the best week of baseball they've had all year, and I'm proud of them, you know. And hopefully they keep going. And at the very least, I tell these guys, we've got 3 more games left. Just compete. I'm not expecting you guys to go undefeated this week and last week and this next week. I'm not. If you do, man, beautiful. But if you lose, but you compete, that's great. I just want you to compete. I don't want you to go out there and hang your head when you make a mistake. I want you to compete. Make sure that every team that plays you says, damn, that's not the same team we played earlier. If that happens, you did your job. And we can take everything that went on this year, and God willing, I'm able to return. That's not in my hands. But God willing, if I'm able to return to this job next year, we've got something to build on. And I'll tell you what, a couple of these coaches that we coached against this year have said, man, they would be very, very dumb to not give you this job next year because you have turned this team around. It would not be a smart move to let you go. I don't know. It's not in my hands. All I can do is try to see if we can get this thing done when the season's over so there's no question. But I'm not the man in charge. You know what I mean? So, probably a cool thing this last game that we played is one of the coaches there, and this has happened now a couple of times, but I noticed the school that we played had a different coach than the first time we played them. And for whatever reason, the other guy had got let go. Um, but this guy walks by me and he looks at me and he's like, hey, don't I know you? Where did you coach at? And I told him, he's like, man, I knew I remembered you. And we had some doozies. I used to coach against this guy. We had some games, boy, like some doozies. I got him probably more than he got me, but he definitely got me a few times. But we've had some games, and he definitely remembered. And one thing he said, he's like, "Oh, well, we got our hands full today," because he knows my style. He knows my coaching style. He knows I'm gonna push the issue every time. Any team that plays for me, they're going to be pushing the issue. Um, anyways, that's what I got, guys. I try to bring the energy everywhere I go, even when I go and help with the Sluggers travel ball team that my young son plays on. I go over there and sometimes I assist and coach. And I'm usually the guy who brings the energy. I try to bring the energy and I try to set the tone. That's what I'm known for. A lot of people, when they meet me, they can tell that I used to coach football. Um, so that's where that intensity comes from. But I believe that I know football really well, but I believe I know baseball a lot more. So taking that intensity from football and transferring it to baseball, um, I think it helps a lot. And I try to do that in anything that I'm doing in my life. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to bring intensity. And if I'm going to do it, we're going to compete. I don't care that's why I don't play video games. That's why I can't do anything. That's why I don't play golf because I know if I play golf, I'm going to want to be competitive and I can't do it. I don't have time for it. That's why I don't pick up softball leagues, co-ed softball. I don't know how to do all that. I'm being honest. I don't know how to play co-ed softball and just go out and have fun. I don't know how to play men's league, beer league, softball and just go have some beers and play. So I don't know how to do that. I may start out knowing how to do that, but then all of a sudden this side of me comes out where I'm like, I'm not coming out here to lose. I'm not coming out here to drop fly balls or not get a hit. Like it's not gonna happen. I'm coming out here to play. And I had to stop doing that. I don't have time for all that. So now I take my energy and I bring it to the teams that I coach and I make sure that I lead with that so they feed off of that. And in turn, uh, they end up picking up that energy themselves and somehow harnessing it to turning it into something that's going to help them become better ball players and be more competitive in their game. But that's all I got, guys. I hope you guys are doing well. I know it's been a little while. Baseball season has just made it hard for me to keep to my schedule. So I'm doing the best I can. Please, I apologize that I haven't been dropping exactly on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But my games have been literally like this week. We had a game Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Now we have a game Friday. Our last games are next week, so I will be back on schedule the way I have been. I know I've been dropping episodes here and there, but I will be fully back on schedule after next week. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. This is episode 157 of the Perfect Mess Podcast. I'm your host, Ray Molina. My website is raymolina.com. My Instagram and TikTok is the Perfect Mess Pod or It's Ray Molina. My YouTube is youtube.com/the perfect mess pod. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get all notifications of any content that I put up. Um, really appreciate it if you subscribe there. Really trying to grow that channel. All right. So please do that. Again, it's youtube.com/the perfect mess pod. I'm on X. I'm on Clubhouse. I'm on Threads, Snapchat, Facebook. I mean, you name it, I'm on it. Look for me. I'm there. Rumble. I'm on all that. All right. If you want to donate, not necessary, but if you want to, I have a Cash App, $ It's Ray Molina, or a Venmo at It's Ray Molina. That is all I have. And like I say, my life isn't perfect. Oftentimes it is a mess, but for me, it is a perfect mess. Peace.